House voted not too long ago 229 to 203 on a bill aimed at preventing future elections from being compromised. Now, the Presidential Election Reform Act was geared to making sure what happened in 2020 doesn't happen again. Now, obviously, the bill was brought up by two members of the January 6th committee, Zoe Loughlin, Democrat of California, and, of course, Liz Cheney of Wyoming. Now, the stated purpose of this bill, and I'm reading this directly from MSNBC's website, the bill will amend the 1887 Electoral Count Act to remove any doubt that the vice president's role in counting electoral college votes is simply ministerial. It would lift the threshold for members of Congress to force a vote on discontinuing presidential electors from just one member of the House and the Senate, each to 1/3 of both chambers, and would require governors to send electors to Congress for their candidate who won, based on state law and set before election day, which cannot be retroactively changed. So basically, it's to stop what Donald Trump nearly tried to do, or to more extent, what Donald Trump's people tried to do in Georgia and elsewhere, sending fake electors in order to steal the election from Joe Biden. Why wouldn't we want that? Seriously, why would we not want to secure our elections? The thing that makes this country, even at its worst, great. Why wouldn't we want that? It's obvious because they don't want that these 203 Republicans, and I can pretty much guess who those 203 Republicans were. Obviously, we're talking about idiots like Mary Jean Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, and so many others who are just hoping to stay elected and are doing everything they can to be reelected, including cheat. So why wouldn't you want this? Now, 9 Republicans voted yes for this measure, obviously Liz Cheney being one of them. But the interesting fact of that is that all 9 Republican votes in this bill are either retiring or lost their primaries this year for the upcoming election. That should tell you a whole lot of what this is. The 9 yes votes who voted along with Democrats are retiring or leaving office. As I said, that should tell you a lot, because the people who said no to this actually are leaving office. Now, this is a statement from Liz Cheney. If your aim is to prevent future efforts to steal elections, I will respectfully suggest that conservatives support this bill. And if instead your aim is to leave open the door for elections to be stolen in the future, you might decide not to support this or any other bill to address the Electoral Count Act. Now, that should tell you a lot too, because the 9 yes votes from the Republicans and the rest of the yes votes from the Democrats show we want to make sure that 2020 never happens again. They're leaving the possibility open for it to happen all over again. But the rest of the Republican votes, and this should tell you more as well, House Republican leaders pressured their members to vote against the bill. In an email to Republican offices, they called it, and I quote, "the Democrats' latest attempt at a thorough takeover of elections." They're just spinning their paranoia BS all over again. But honestly, it's scaring me, and it should scare the living hell out of you, that these people who say they're all about freedom and Constitution and all that stuff wouldn't do everything they could to protect those freedoms. And they want to cry about states' rights. These are coming from the very same people who are the election deniers. One of them in Arizona, I forget his name, whatever. He said that unless Republicans win, no, I think his exact words were, if Republicans win, then it's fine. The election was not rigged. But if Republicans lose their elections, then it's all rigged against them. It's all rigged. They had to cheat to steal the elections from us. That should tell you a whole lot. And frankly, it's right out of the playbook of Donald Trump. And that is the wrong kind of playbook to learn from. Because at the end of the day, those lies are going to sink them all down. I don't want to see another January 6, 2021. And that's exactly what's going to happen if these election deniers get good hold of the House and the Senate. Because if they lose, they're going to scream to the mountaintops that it's all rigged. It was stolen from us. It's all rigged. Even though it wasn't rigged. Even though it shows that a lot of the polls that I've been looking at show that the Republicans have a slight lead, in some states. A slight lead. The question is, do we really want a Senate and a House full of election deniers who will rip the Constitution apart, the very document they say that they're trying to protect? Or do we want people in Congress who will actually work for the country? The 9 people I mentioned, obviously the 9 people who voted for this bill, understand that. Apparently, the rest of the Republican Party in the House and in the Senate, and the Republicans all over the country, don't want elections secured. They don't want elections secured. All they want is power. All they want is control. They might as well be a Marvel villain who wants control of the world, wants to take over the world. That's exactly how they are acting. You saw Lauren Boebert in that church sermon. You hear Marjorie Taylor Greene every time she gets in front of a camera, downgrading our country and extolling Donald Trump. You hear people like Louis Gohmert, Ted Cruz, and so many others say, I want this. And when it actually happens, when jobs are brought back to the United States, and when projects that will benefit their states, money-wise, job-wise, are actually happening now, they complain or vote against it. That is why I have that hashtag at the beginning of the logo of this of my videos. Fight with our votes. Because it's our votes that are going to save our country. Not the show of force, not a bunch of red hat morons marching on the United States Capitol, demanding that the election be overturned just for popularity. There are popular ideas to go through. Our votes will save our country. And me being a black man who understands in this country the history of what African Americans have been through to get our freedoms, all of our freedoms, including especially the right to vote, this is personal for me. If you have friends who are not registered to vote, ask them why they're not registered. Look them in the eye and ask them that. Show the photos of people, African Americans, who actually were murdered, hanged, and beaten because they had the temerity to demand the vote. And make them see the sacrifices that they made, that they are squandering. And right now, that history is on a very dangerous thread. If Republicans get control of the House and the Senate, you already know what their intentions are. They've already repressed the LGBTQ. They're already trying to steal rights away from women to control their bodies. Sooner or later, they're going to come after our rights. Rights of Americans. Rights of Black Americans. Rights of Americans of any color. That is their goal. And they have not made any kind of illusions as to what their goal is. This vote should show you that. 203 Republicans voted against securing our elections. And now, even after evidence has been shown that earlier this week, we saw a video in Georgia of another election breach. These people are not playing games. We can't either. Fight with our votes. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.